available and present here today. I welcome you all to this momentous occasion of Swissair flight to Colombo on their inaugural flight, which landed at 7:30 a.m. at Bandaranaike International Airport. On behalf of Airport and Aviation Sri Lanka Limited, I would like to thank each and every one of you present here in the morning. And special thanks, Your Excellency, goes to the management of the airline who decided to actually embark on this journey of arriving at Sri Lankan airports today. And during such a turmoil time in our industry, which obviously is hit drastically by the pandemic, all the airports and airlines alike have been going through a very rough patch. And I think this kind of signifies the recovery process in the industry, which started a couple of months back in Sri Lanka, especially after a thorough lockdown in our country. Our airports have been shut for the past so many months, and different countries obviously had different processes adopted during this pandemic. And of course, Sri Lanka too had a strategy of locking down our country for a period of time during the bad times starting from March 2020. We managed to bring down the virus, the risk levels of the virus in Sri Lanka. Today, I'm happy to say that we are at a very minimum levels when it comes to COVID numbers as well. So Sri Lanka obviously adopted an zero rate COVID strategy initially starting from 2020 March. By today, we have reached that, and we are very happy, and we are opening up the country, obviously, with glorious airlines like Swissair, Edelweiss, and all the other airlines which normally patronize our airport during the past 30 years here. We're very happy to welcome all of you to our airports. I would also further like to speak a few words about your Ambassador, Your Excellency. We would like to tell you how we plan to kind of open up our airports in the future, especially with the pandemic going on. We have about 30% now growth rate from pre-pandemic numbers. I think during the last 2 months, the spike has started to happen. There is many passengers confidently moving in and out of airports today, especially with the vaccine rollout all over the world happening. Sri Lanka has reached about 60% of the vaccination numbers by today. And I believe most countries have reached above 70 and 80%. And that kind of gives confidence to many passengers to start traveling back worldwide, connecting destinations, connecting the world. And Sri Lanka, of course, in that pursuit, have joined that a plan to kind of bring up the growth rates in world travel. As you know, the domestic markets such as China, Europe, USA has kind of spiked up with the domestic travel, and the international travel is slowly but surely following up. As I said, we are about 30% up now from pre-COVID numbers, and we are very confident that by 2022 summer and winter, we would come back to our normalcy of having that 10.9 or 11 million passengers that we've had in our airports in 2019. That was probably our peak, Your Excellency. In Sri Lanka, we had 11 million passengers in 2018 and 2019 rather. We are also building a new terminal, Terminal 2. It's coming up in 2023. December, we hope to launch that terminal, which will add a capacity of about 9 million passengers to this currently existing 6 million passenger terminal. So it will in total be 15 million passenger terminal capacity in 2023 as well. So with the pandemic going on, of course, many technological advancements, Honorable Minister, I think we have discussed vastly about this. Many technological advancements were planned at Terminal 2, but now with COVID, the pandemic kind of accelerating, we have accelerated our technological advancements in this current terminal as well. And as you may already know, we do not have e-gates here. All the e-gates and all the smart approaches were planned at Terminal 2, but now with the pandemic accelerating, we are kind of accelerating our plans on technology advancements in this airport as well. So by 2022, March and April, we would have e-gates here. We plan to have 4 e-gates in our terminal. We also want to synchronize and smart path, which the iris will scan the passengers' eyes, obviously, and that will be then identity right throughout the airport through the passenger process, starting from check-in to boarding gates. It will be probably a seamless movement when you synchronize the e-gates and the smart path with iris scanning inside the airport. There'll be a seamless process, touchless processes, minimizing the risk levels of COVID inside the terminal. And we are happy to say that we have managed to keep those numbers inside our airports very low, thanks to the dedicated staff here at the Airport and Aviation. We have a staff of about 5,000 working under our organization. And I would like to thank each and every one of them who had gone out of their way to make sure that we manage the pandemic very well. And today we are seeing the results of it by many passengers coming from all around the world to Sri Lanka, and we are happy to welcome all of you. Finally, Your Ambassador, I would like to thank the management of Swissair, co-chair partners Edelweiss, and the government of Switzerland on behalf of our minister and our chairman, who is not available today. Unfortunately, he's in France. Just the other day, I was in France too. We inaugurated, our honorable minister and our secretaries inaugurated a new flight from Sri Lankan Airlines to France just the other day, which I was privileged to be a part of. And what I noticed, Your Excellency, was from France, we had the incoming flight to Sri Lanka had 210 passengers, which we did not expect during this turbulent time. So we're very happy to see the numbers from France to Colombo expanding and enhancing as well. So I think this route, which we just started today, the inaugural flight, will bring many benefits to both countries, Switzerland and Sri Lanka alike, and we hope that the connectivity between Sri Lanka and Switzerland will thrive in the next coming months and the coming years. I thank you all for listening to me, and I wish Swissair and successful journey in Sri Lanka, and soaring. I hope that they keep soaring the skies in the near future. Thank you very much.
Sri Lanka, Swiss Airlines, welcome back to Sri Lanka, Edelweiss. We are all happy that after too long time, we know why, the direct connection between our two countries has been re-established this morning. And it really facilitates, this is important, I think, interpersonal exchanges, encounters, and of course, as it was mentioned already, it's very important for economic reasons. Not only, but mainly for tourism, and I'm confident that it will help to increase numbers coming to Sri Lanka, this beautiful country, which I really like with its unbelievable riches, that it will help to increase numbers quickly. But I hope, of course, that also many Sri Lankans will take the opportunity and visit Switzerland. When I talked to my Sri Lankan friends, many of them told me how happy they are. And recently, one of the very known ministers of this country, he told me, Ambassador, we are happy but also proud. And I think he meant proud because our airlines stand for typical Swiss values. It's really top quality, it's first-class services, it's reliability, and much more. So the fact that the management of Edelweiss and airlines took the decision to come back, is not only of economic importance, it's also a clear sign of trust in Sri Lanka, Swiss trust in Sri Lanka. And I can say in all modesty that Swiss trust carries weight and radiates everywhere. So I think Sri Lanka has all reason to be proud. I'm happy and proud too, for very personal reasons. Of course, as an ambassador, it's nice to have the airline back. It helps really for people's exchange. It's an ambassador, it's a first-class ambassador for Switzerland, for the reasons I mentioned. And I was so far happy and lucky in all my postings abroad. Egypt, 2 times in the UK, in the Czech Republic, there were always flights, direct flights. And that's great. So I'm happy that we have the direct flights here again. Our Swiss airlines, with their typical Swiss cross or the flower on their tail, have always been one of the favorite brands of the Swiss themselves. Since I was a boy, Swissair. And for me, I must say, it carries also a very emotional element, because I grew up as a son of a Swissair employee. My father was, among others, station managers in Bombay, as it was called then, with responsibilities for Colombo. But that's a long time ago when our crew wasn't even born. So really, really a long time ago. So always when I lived abroad, you know, and when I saw a Swiss plane approach or stand on the runway, it filled me with emotions and pleasure. Because what I see, and this was the same this morning, you know, it's a piece of Switzerland. It's a piece of home, and therefore a piece of myself. So this was really a personal pleasure to see you coming in, though through the rain. So the sun cream is for later. But it was really a huge pleasure. And that's why I'm really grateful. Please convey this to your management, that the decision was taken to reopen this direct connection. And I wish you every success in the hope that you can soon increase frequency and that I personally will be able to be on board as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
We had a very good relationship, and all the time the tourists coming in, and Sri Lanka is one of the main destinations, so they had for a while, and so hope, and as a world we had struggle and we fought back, and right now we are fighting as a country right now. So with the COVID pandemic, we almost got through, and the vaccination programs, and almost 61% the vaccination is done, and so we are moving forward very fast. Within a couple of weeks we should be able to vaccinate. I don't want to take much time, but again I should welcome you also, since our director's help, so he explained about our future development, our technological advancement, where will be in 3 months time, especially in 3 months time. What we are planning is touch free, like since as our director says, so the technology of advancement we have planned for the terminal 2. Now we are trying to establish in terminal 1 as well, since with the new pandemic. So it's good to have the technology, and we are touch free, people can go through. So it's our pleasure to facilitate Swiss International Airline again. At the same time, so this is one of the safest destination right now, since even the airport itself, so we got the accreditation from Airport Council International. So Sri Lanka is the one of few country to have it at the beginning. So we always had the safest destination, also is the safest airport. So as our team, so we are working so hard all to protection of all the passengers as well as crew. So one Sri Lanka is, so before 2019 we used to have 2 million passengers, but unfortunately last 2 years time, so it has dropped and dropped and dropped, because even Sri Lanka we were under some lockdowns, but fortunately now it's all over. We are ready to welcome tourism, we are ready to welcome tourists and all other airlines. So many airlines, even today there are 2 airlines commencing flight. So hopefully in future, so with the support of the excellency and the team, so we should be able to get back to where we used to be in 2019 and further. So we expect that. So, and over all the people in the world, they want to travel, so they are under so much of pressure. So I personally know so how we used to travel and how Sri Lankan used to travel. So the same way I feel all the world want to travel. So this is the time. So now the vaccination is good, so everything is happening smooth. So this is at the same time, this is always both ways. So Sri Lanka believe in both ways benefits, like for the Swiss as well as for Sri Lanka. So whenever we are working with the country, so we believe in both ways. So yeah, this is the time for all of us come back together and work hard. This is not an easy time, but we can all work hard, work together and achieve this. Again, finally, again, I welcome all of you to Sri Lanka. So we are very happy to facilitate you. Thank you very much.
Guest of honor, His Excellency Dominic Fergler, Ambassador for Switzerland to Sri Lanka and the Maldives. State Minister of Aviation and Development of Export Zones, Honorable D.V. Chanaka, State Ministry of Aviation and Development of Export Zones. Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. S. Hettiarachi, Ministry of Tourism. Mr. Shehan Sumanasekara, Director, Chief Operator. Shehan Vanyappa, Director, Air Transport and Economics Regulation, Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka. Members of the Board of Airport and Aviation Services and the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka. Members of the Senior Management Team of the Sri Lanka Tourist Board. Distinguished invitees, members of my board, my team, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you. Thank you for gracing this occasion with us this early in the day. I'm proud to say that Swiss International Airlines was one of the first to announce its resumption of services as our country begins to emerge from this pandemic. Thankfully, all indicators point towards a gradual recovery of our hard-hit industry. This would not have been possible without the quick, innovative, and occasional controversial, if not daring, initiatives taken by our industry leaders to help open and welcome visitors back to our beautiful country, to enjoy our hospitality, and to support our economy. On a personal note, it is a proud moment indeed for me. Not only is Swiss our very first online GSA, as it so happens, its senior manager way back when in the 60s, I have history too, who happened to be my uncle, was my trainer in the airline ticketing and reservations course that I followed when I first joined the industry nearly 3 decades ago. We are extremely grateful for the initiatives and effort taken by the Airports Authority under the leadership of Chairman, Airport and Aviation Services Major General Retired G.A. Chandrasiri, who's not here today, and the dynamic Mr. Shehan Sumarasekara.
ටූරිසම් ඒ වගේම සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයත් එක්ක බද්ධ වෙලා අපේ ආර්ථිකය ඒ වගේම අපි ආර්ථිකය ඒ වගේම ලංකාවට වැඩිම ඩොලර් ප්‍රමාණයක් ගේන ව්‍යාපාරයක් බවට සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය 2019 වෙද්දී පත් වෙලා තිබුණා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන්ම ලෝකේ හඳුනාගත් රටවල් වලින් හැමදාම හොඳම රට බවට ලංකාවපත් වුණා සංචාරය කරන්න. ඒක 2009 යුද ජයග්‍රහණයෙන් පස්සේ හැමදාම ඒ ජයග්‍රහණය අපිට ලැබුණා. හැබැයි අවාසනාවට 2019 පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයත් ඒ වගේම කොරෝනා තත්ත්වයක් එක්ක ඒ සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාර විශාල කඩාවැටීමක් එකතු වුණා. හැබැයි මේ වෙද්දි නැවත වතාවක් අපේ රටේ විශාල පිබිදීමක් අපිට පේනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම වැක්සින් කරණයත් එක්ක 160කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයට වැක්සින් කරණය ඒ වගේම ගුවන් තොටුපළේ ලැබිච්ච තත්ත්ව වාර්තා මේ සියල්ලත් එක්ක ලංකාව මේ වෙද්දි විශාල වශයෙන් විදේශිකයන් තෝරා ගන්න රටක් බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ගුවන් සමාගම් තෝරා ගන්න රටක් බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අද දිනේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ස්විස් ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් එයාර්ලයින් නැවත වතාවක් අද ගුවන් ගමන් ලංකාවට ආරම්භ කරා. විශේෂයෙන්ම ගුවන් මගින් 92ත් එක්ක තමයි 92 දෙනෙක් එක්ක තමයි පළවෙනි ගමන් ආරම්භ වුණේ. අපි දන්නවා කෙටි කාලයක් තුල අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා දිනෙන් දින ඒ එන සංචාරකයන් ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි වෙයි කියලා. මොකද ලංකාවේ තියෙන මේ තත්ත්වයත් එක්ක ඒ සෞඛ්‍ය ආරක්ෂාවත් එක්ක අද ලෝකෙම විශ්වාස කරනවා සංචාරය කරන්න සුදුසුම රටක් බවට ලංකාව. ඒ වගේම අද දිනේ මේ ආරම්භ කරා වගේම ගුවන් සමාගම් කීපයක් අද දිනේදී ගුවන් ගමන් ආරම්භ කරනවා. ඒ වගේම ඉදිරියේදී අපේ තිබුණටත් වැඩිය එහා ගියපු හොඳ සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයක් කරගෙන යන්න ඒ අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු කරගෙන යන්න අපි දැන් කටයුතු කරගෙන යනවා. අද දවල් එකට ඒ ගුවන් සමාගමත් පටන් ගන්නවා. ඊට අමතරව ගුවන් සමාගම් කීපයක් ඉදිරි දිනේදී ගුවන් ගමන් ආරම්භ කරනවා. අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ඔබතුමාලට දැනුවත් කිරීම කරනවා. එයා ෆ්‍රාන්ස් ඩිරෙක්ට් ෆ්ලයිට් එක පළවෙනි වතාවට ලංකාවට පටන් ගන්න. ඒ වගේම මේ ස්විස් ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ඩිරෙක්ට් ෆ්ලයිට් එකක් තමයි අද ලංකාවට ආරම්භ කරන්නේ.
අදත් එක්ක මේ ගුවන් සේවාවන් දෙකත් එක්කම එදා ප්‍රංශ ගුවන් සේවාවත් පටන් ගත්ත මේ ඒක 3යි. තව කොච්චර ඉදිරියේ වෙයිද?
අපිට වෙනද තිබ්බ ගුවන් සමාගම් සියල්ලමත් ආරම්භ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අලුත් ගුවන් සමාගම් කීපයක් එක්කම ගුවන් තොටුපළ හා ගුවන් සේවා සමාගම් මේ වෙද්දි සාකච්ඡා ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉදිරි දින කීපෙදී ඔබතුමාලාට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි දවස ගානේ අලුත් ගුවන් සමාගම් මේ වගේම සංචාරකයන් විශාල වශයෙන් රටට පැමිණෙනවා. විදේශීය සංචාරකයන්.
ඒ වගේම දැන් මේ ගුවන් තොටුපළ ටාගට් එකක් තියෙනවා අපිට මේ අවුරුද්දේ විදේශීය සංචාරකයන්.
අපිට ටාගට් එකක් තියෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා මුලදී අපි බලාපොරොත්තුව තිබුණේ $1 billion earning එකක් ගන්න. හැබැයි අවාසනාවට රට වැසීමත් එක්ක යම්කිසි බලාපොරොත්තු ඈත්වීමක් තිබුණා. හැබැයි මේ වෙද්දි නැවත වතාවක් එය සාර්ථක කරගන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට 1 බිලියන් යන්න බැරි වුණත් අපිට හොඳ වර්ධනයක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා විශ්වාස කරනවා.